2019 was the best year of my life, and it was also the worst. To understand, I have to take you back to the end of the prior year. My mom died unexpectedly, and I did not take it well. To top it off, I was deep into an existential midlife crisis, and I was flailing. Several of my closest friends had moved away, and with my mom gone, I felt really alone, except for one person, my husband. We'd been married for 20 years, and we approached life with kind of an us against them attitude. We were true teammates, and we'd worked hard to get there. My best friend, my ride or die. One afternoon, we went out to look for lots to build our retirement home on. We held hands that night over the sunset in our favorite lot, and he talked of future sunsets on front porch swing, and I thought, midlife crisis. This kind of love is all I need. The very next day, he told me he was in love with someone else, and it was over. The blind side was so unexpected and without any signs that I tried to talk his family into getting him a head CT because I truly believed he had a brain tumor. I broke, y'all, badly. What's tough to explain about an unexpected betrayal of this magnitude is that I didn't lose a partner. I lost my identity, my sense of self. My dream future that I spent my whole life working towards is gone. My past, a lie. A whole 20 years of my life wasted. My self-esteem, gone. My ability to ever trust another human being again, gone. My capacity for love, gone, gone, gone. I was an empty shell. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. The pain was physical. Some nights I'd lie awake wondering if it could kill me. And other nights, I kind of hoped it would. But there was one thing that made sense for me in the world when nothing else did: music. But this was no ordinary breakup, and this was to be no ordinary breakup playlist. In those early days, it was post-hardcore punk songs that got me through. I'd lie awake, cranking up the volume, letting the screams of Taking Back Sunday or Rise Against or Senses Fail drown out all the noise in my head. My people! Other nights, to numb the pain, it'd be Xanax and a more moody playlist. Manchester Orchestra, Brand New, Death Cab. I'd curl up into a ball and I'd sink into those aching choruses. It was like they had the ability to slough off my pain with them, and they'd allow me just to drift away into a numb oblivion. But eventually, that numbness cracked just a smidge, and rage rushed in. Oh, rage. Rage is sometimes delightful, but it can be addicting, because it like gobbles up the pain. And that was what I needed. So I let it all the way in. I'd stomp around the house, speakers shaking the wall, to Godsmack or Disturbed, sweating out my fury like a woman possessed. I rage purged the house to Eminem, and then I angry cleaned to Linkin Park like it was my job. And it might as well have been, because at this point, I was not a functional member of corporate society. AWOL Nation's Burn It Down was with me when I burnt nearly everything that he was connected to a crisp. I'm talking wedding photos, clothes, artwork, coffee tables. This was not a subtle little backyard event. If anyone had seen it, I think I would have been committed. Speaking of being committed, one particularly memorable Tuesday, I turned a spare bedroom into an actual rage room. I threw plates up against the wall to Limp Bizkit. I was taking a water break on my 4th or 5th playthrough of my favorite song when the cops showed up at my door. The neighbors had heard screaming, but it was really just me shouting the lyric, I might just break your fucking face tonight. When I answered the door to the cops, I was in my sweaty pajamas. I weighed 102 pounds by this point, and God knows when the last time I showered was. So the cops were understandably a little concerned. And that ended my embarrassing little rage phase. Then the dancing phase began. I still wasn't sleeping, like to the point where it makes you a little crazy, or in my case, crazier. So I started dancing at 4 o'clock in the morning in my living room, mostly naked, in the dark, a couple of very confused dogs wanting to go to bed. This time it was quieter, gentle music. Lord Heron, Bon Iver, Van Morrison. I'd lose myself in the music and the movement. Glenn Hansgard promising me that time would be a healer. Frank Turner telling me it was okay not to be okay. It was like I was trying to physically move the grief out of my body through that music and movement. What finally drew me out of the house was the quest for live music. So I started going alone to Skylark Lounge to listen to Soul Man Sam and Birdleg sing me the blues. I danced like I did at home, rawly. But I didn't care. I was starting to feel something. Like maybe joy wasn't just a memory. I was driving home from one of these sessions, radio blaring. I was trying out a new female empowerment playlist, and Rachel Platten's Fight song came on. Super cheesy song, y'all. But what I needed at that very moment in time was this lyric. This is my fight song, take back my life song, prove that I'm all right song. Starting now, I'll be strong. I pulled over for a long time. But that moment, that singular moment became my turning point. From then on, I took a female empowerment song with me everywhere. Lizzo became my 2019 staple and my ultimate hype girl. Hair tossed, check your nails, baby. Pink said, so what? You're still a rock star. Christina said I was a fighter. Kelly Clarkson said I was stronger. Sia said I was unstoppable. Cliches, all of it. I didn't care. I was coming alive. I took them with me through the entire road to rediscovery, to impulsive decisions, to new adventures, to maybe a few too many why not moments. But it all led me to the same place, to joy, to finding out who I wanted to be, and to rediscovering how damn beautiful this life can be again. Almost exactly 1 year to the day this all began, a new friend of mine invited me to see Russian surf rock at the Continental Club. I didn't know what Russian surf rock was, but I knew I liked saying yes again. Igor and the Red Elvises were playing, and I could not make this up. She works for the KGB, and I work for Taco Bell. I was dancing like the maniac I had become when I met Anthony. He later said he fell in love with my joy, that he could see the music come alive when I danced. We're getting married this fall. But the music didn't just lead me back to him, or even back to myself. It led me to a version of me I hadn't yet met, one that's stronger, more open, and one who has the ability to love without losing pieces of myself.